All right, Shalom. Want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaChakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, a great millstone to rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. Brother Kosh coming back at you with a quick lesson in the spirit. This is going to be on communication. As you see here, I got in Matthew 5 and 37. As we know what the scriptures say, there, just loosely paraphrasing, there shouldn't be any schisms within the body. I think that's quoted in Corinthians. If you know that precept, go ahead and put it in the comments below. I'm just trying to get to the point here. And to avoid any type of schisms or mishaps within the group, and I'm talking your camp, or in your group, you need to communicate. You need to say something. We do function off of that see something, say something mentality. We do function like that, and if you can't get with that, you can't get with it. You shouldn't just, be, a part of this because it requires you to say something and see something. You are required to see something. You are required to be observant, and you are required to check in or lock in. That's the stipulations. That's just how the cookies crumble, and really that's a part of our heritage and our culture. If you consider yourself an Israelite, then you obviously would read the law, and according to the law, you would understand that if you see these things that are going off, you would check it. Simple and plain as that. You know how they say it takes a village to raise a kid? Yeah, you see something, you say something. Okay, that's simple, But this is Matthew chapter 5 and 37. It says, but let your communication be yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. So there's no gray area, just simple things. Hey, I gotta work late. I gotta work overtime. Can't make it to camp or something. Shit, I don't know. Just communicate. What you may have something that's hindering you, from maybe doing something in the ministry. You need to communicate that, because if you don't communicate that, that's going to end up making you seem like you're lacking faith. And there's one particular book that I love. I read the book all the time, the book of Philemon, which I'm going to go ahead and pull up right now. The book of Philemon. All right. As you see, I have it right here. The book of Philemon is me personally, this is a personal opinion. If you want to get to know Paul, read the book of Philemon. This gives you a lot of insight of the type of man that Paul was. It gives you a whole bunch of insight on who Paul was. If you would like, I did a breakdown of this particular book. I want to say like 5, 6, 7 years ago. This should be on my playlist on my YouTube. I may need to go touch back on it and refresh it. You know what I'm saying? But the book is good, man. And it really lets you know what type of person Paul was. But anywho, along the lines of communication, this is Philemon chapter 1, verse 5. It says, hearing of the love of thy love and faith, which thou hast toward the Lord Yahushai, and toward all saints. And I'm reading the CSB over to the right. It says, because I hear of your love of all the saints and the faith that you have in the Lord Yahushai. Okay. Verse 6, that the communication of thy faith may become effectual by the acknowledging of every good thing which is in you in Hamashiach Yahushai. Now let's read the CSB on the right side, because it's going to give you a little bit more understanding on the communication part. It says, I pray that your participation, God damn it, your participation, communication equals participation. Communication equals participation. Not, pulling up to camp, doing your lessons and your videos, just hitting bros up, checking in with an officer or two, you know, or just calling, checking up on a brother, just want to chop it up. Hey, shit, you want to go, fuck it, you want to go hit a bar or something? Have some, fuck it, just be around. Don't be incognito. You know what I'm saying? That is participation. Let me see if I can do a lookup. Look up participation. Involvement. You are required to be involved. Can't be no lone fucking wolf. Now, I get it. There are some individuals who just have the spirit, are more, alone than others, which is okay. But they still participate, though. You see what I'm saying? It's okay to have that. But you still need to participate because you made the conscious decision to enter into this labor. Or the Spirit chose you. The Lord chose you. Okay? You answered the call. And you chose to enter into this labor. So with the labor, it requires things. Now, let me come back to Philemon. Okay? 1 Corinthians 3. And 9. It says, "For we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are Most High's husbandry. You are the Most High's building. According to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation." So the foundation was already laid. Let's get the word foundation in a simple Google lookup. A footing or basis. Okay? What you see right here at the bottom, it says an underlying basis or principle. So the principles have already been founded. Just take it back to 1969, 1970. The principles were already founded. That's where you get the word trailblazer from. The trail was already blazed. The trail was already blazed. I'm going to come back to Corinthians. Let's see. This is Romans 10:3. If you're a bad communicator, if you're not involved, and you don't want to participate, nigga, this is you. Romans 10:3. For they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness, and the Most High's righteousness was put in particular men to blaze the trail for us and set principles and bases and foundations for us to follow. Okay, that's what that righteousness is. And going about to establish their own righteousness. And nowhere in, me personally, I stood on the outside. I'm going to give you a little, I stood on the outside of the DC camp with Elder Montagon and all of them up there for about 1.5 years, 2 years. I stood on the outside of the Atlanta camp for about 1 year. And not once did I hear one of those camps say, "Oh, you don't have to communicate." Not once. I heard opposite. I heard them preach communication. I always heard them bring out the precept in Hebrews, but to do good and communicate. I always heard that. So it's an obligation for you to participate, to be involved, and to say something. And if you see something, say something. Okay? So going on here, it says, "For they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness and going to establish their own righteousness," which your righteousness in the first place is as filthy rags. And if you're thinking you are establishing your own righteousness, by not communicating, that's some new shit. And we know what the scriptures talk about in Revelation. Anyone should add or take away what's written in this book, just loosely paraphrasing, that includes your actions. If your actions are not aligned with what the scriptures are saying, you're taken away. And you're trying to establish something that wasn't written. Okay? It says, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. Yep. You haven't submitted yourself. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians 3. You have not submitted yourself to the basis, to the foundation. Let's go back to the foundation, the quick Google lookup. The underlying basis or principles. You have not submitted yourself to those principles, meaning you lack integrity. Okay? Matter of fact, I'm going to finish the precept, but let's get the word foundation in the Greek.
Strong's G 2310. Themelios.
Themelios, which really has the word low-key has the word. Let's go to the root.
Strong's G 5087. Tithemi.
Okay. Let's go back. All right, Themelios, and really that sounds like a little bit like Theos, which is like God or an author, okay? Because the author still lays the foundation of whatever he wants to write in that book, okay? So the foundation means laid down as foundation. Metaphor, the foundation's beginnings, first principles, or institution, or system of truth. That's what foundation means. The institution or system of truth. So if you don't want to communicate, you are not in the system of truth. Okay? 1 Corinthians 3:10 again, and we're going to go back to Philemon. It says, according to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. And the basis of the foundation, the underlining basis and principles, is communication. And if you're not communicating, you are not taking careful consideration on how you are building upon a foundation or the system of truth that has already been made. Therefore, you are aligned with Romans 10:3. Let's go back to Philemon and we're going to close it out. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long. It's just a point. Philemon 1:6, it says that the communication of thy faith may be effectual by acknowledging of every good thing which is in you in Yahushua HaMashiach. Verse 6 in the CSB to the right-hand side that I have says, I pray that your participation in the faith may become effective through knowing every good thing that is in us for the glory of Hamashiach. So you participating shows your effectiveness. And if you lacked effectiveness, you are no longer needed. You're a schism that needs to be taken out of the body. It's just like if there's a bad, yeah, I'm going to use him fucking on the Spurs. What's this guy? He's so bad I forgot his name. But he single-handedly ruined the Spurs finals run. Nigga dribbled the ball out. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He was a schism. He tried to lay his own foundation. What he did was a simple ass mistake that you on a professional level should have known to dribble the ball out instead of try to go up for a layup and get that shit blocked. You see what I'm saying? Now your lack of communication and lack of effectiveness have cost the Spurs a championship finals appearance, man. But anywho, that nigga is so bad I forgot his name. If you know his name, put him in the comments. All right, but that's all I have for you here tonight. Lord willing, I was edifying. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Achakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, a great millstone to rule and teach well. Peace or salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. Until the next time, we'll say shalom. And like always, repent, for Yahweh Shai is coming back sooner than what me and you believed. All right, shalom.